Viraj Gandhi. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm an entrepreneur, and I currently also am part of the Entrepreneur Organization, which is a worldwide organization of entrepreneurs. We have 13,000 members. I'm the president of the DC chapter. My term ends in June. I'm very excited about that. To be honest with you, I wish I could say that I had this magical, idea of becoming an entrepreneur and I thought it through and all that, and I really didn't. I was 23 years old. I didn't have a family. I didn't have a mortgage. I didn't have kids. So for me, I just knew that I wanted to become an entrepreneur, and the opportunity was there. So, I talked to a lawyer. I talked to an accountant. I had figured out what I needed to do, made sure that my non-compete agreements weren't that I couldn't do that. And on December 31st, 2003, I started Paradyme Management. So making it happen, next chapter. So 2003 to 2007, it was networking, learning. I was billable on a project. I was a program manager for a portion of the DC government, managing an HR implementation for 30,000 people. At the same time, I was trying to do lunches with other department heads. I was just trying to network any way possible that I can to add people. So if somebody needed somebody, I will say, yeah, I can do that, and I'll make $5 on that person. So I was essentially like a chop shop or a staffing firm. But I never said no to anything. I just said, bring it on. I just figured out how I can do it. I started the firm in December. It wasn't until like June that I actually bought QuickBooks and actually started to put my receipts in. I mean, I really was clueless, but I really didn't know how to ask for help. I mean, I really kind of stayed insulated because I thought, well, I'm an entrepreneur now. I need to know everything. And that's not the case. I mean, obviously, I could have asked for help and made my life a little bit easier, but I didn't do that. Businesses have 3 points of when they become mature. One, you can actually not live paycheck to paycheck and you're managing your own cash flow, and you can actually pay for payroll without actually moving funds around and things like that. Number 2, you actually know what you do really well, and you actually can say no to business. So in the beginning, I was saying yes to everything possible. Now I had the impetus and the ability to say no, we don't actually do that. No, I will not find you an engineer because we're an IT firm. Third is being able to really focus on the things that we did really well. And I should have mentioned before, Amanda said that we're a federal government contractor. We operate in the data management lifecycle. So we do systems integration, custom software development, and data analytics. Anything that includes data and making data shared and available for stakeholders to make better decisions is the simplest way I can put it. We've been doing that since 2003. So the stuff that I started the firm with is stuff that we still do now. Obviously, we do other things as well, but these are 3 pillars that have kind of grown with me. So in terms of business maturity, we continued to work at the DC government. I was there. In the middle of 2006, I had decided the best way to grow my business, so we had about 5 people, was for me to actually step off of billable capacity and actually grow the business. So we ended up being in about 35 of the 70 operating agencies at the District of Columbia. So we were doing awesome. Was not strategically thinking at all. I was one step in front of the next, one day after the next, and we were hiring people, but to be honest with you, we were not hiring the people for their culture or how they would fit into the firm, because quite frankly, I had no clue of what the firm really was. We were hiring John because John is a Java expert and I could put him on this project and make $15 an hour on him. But anyways, hitting the stride was nice because we started to actually build. I mean, we had 3 or 4 different projects. I had program managers, and then we had the opportunity to kind of get into the commercial world. So government contracting, state and local government contracting, very different than commercial, very different than federal government. The commercial side of things was interesting. We had gotten a lead from Accenture, where my business partner formerly worked, and Visteon. If any of you guys have heard of Visteon, they make the auto parts for Ford, so the dashboards and things like that. We had an opportunity to work at Visteon. We obviously took it. We had never traveled in terms of for work, so now we're traveling out to Michigan. We have employees in Michigan. Very, very odd for a 5-6 person company, but we did enterprise integration really well, and we showed Visteon probably a little bit bigger than we could, but we were able to get it done. Everything was going so damn well that we actually kind of relaxed a little bit. My business partner and I went out to Hawaii for vacation. We wanted to celebrate. We got back, and in February of that year, Vistion declared bankruptcy. We lost $1 million in AR. We were not that big. That broke us. To know as a small business that you were not going to get paid for the 3.5 months that you worked killed us. It was really, really demoralizing. And then we made an even tougher decision, which is why I call this karma. We had subcontractors that we had an agreement that they would get paid when we got paid. So we're thinking about $300,000, $400,000 of subcontractors. We dipped into our bank account and our line of credit, and we paid the people even though we were not going to get paid. And it's a belief that I had and my business partner had. So it wasn't a tough decision to make because we knew that other people had families. It was a tough decision because it completely emptied our bank account. It was really, really tough. We looked at our bank account at Paradyme, looked at my personal bank account, and I was like, wow, I actually have to stop and think about what I can and can't do anymore. We decided not to pay ourselves to keep the company afloat. I didn't take salary for 2 years. We had an employee that we had hired. He was like, one of our top employees. He was going to become a partner at Accenture. He decided to leave, so there should have been something that triggered me saying, well, if he didn't become a partner there, why are we hiring him? He tried to steal one of our contracts. So we were dealing with all this, and now we're in legal battle because he's trying to steal one of our contracts. So to put it very lightly, we had a cultural deficiency at Paradyme, and when I talk about demoralization, it was like I had a hard time getting up out of bed because I was divorced, I had no money in my bank account, and I looked at this company that I had built that was going so well, and there was nothing left. I had people looking at me when I would walk into work and just looking at me with these eyes like, what are we going to do next? I thought it would just be easier to fold. Like, tell everybody, go find a job and just fold, and then I can do something else and kind of rid myself of Paradyme Management. We didn't do that. 2010 to 2012, which is what I call the rebuilding phase, we restarted, right? You've heard of, it's not how hard you fall, it's how quickly you get up. So it took us a while to get up, but my partner and I, we really hunkered down and figured, let's really figure out what our strategy is. The financial crisis had hit, so obviously working with commercial clients was just not in the game. Local and state governments were not giving out large contracts or multi-year contracts. So what we thought is, let's look at the federal government. So becoming a government contractor, same thing. Certifications, processes, guidelines, all of these things that I had no clue about are things now that I had to learn. Federal government contracting, there are 51,000 companies that do what I do. And how do we differentiate ourselves? So if you guys go to our website when you have a chance, if you want to, paradymemanagement.com, we focus on the people and the culture, right? So we want people to feel like they come to work and this is a place they can retire. I know that sounds kind of crazy because, it's our grandfathers that worked at Ford for like 35 years. Nobody works anywhere for 35 years anymore, but we want to create an environment where people can actually retire. So personally, professionally, we're going to help them grow. 7 years without any major, fails was great, but it was inevitable for something to happen, and it really, the Vistion fail really taught me, one, what I'm made of, and two, that I have the ability to get back on my feet. It took a little bit of time, but it's there. You just have to